We are used to do a lot of things online, so we have microphones and everything to record.
Yeah, actually, we're doing this divine touch online now in Spanish. Who speaks Spanish here? Yeah, you do. Yeah, well, I know now.
A little
Tina,
bit.
yes, you do too. Well, yes, of course, it needs practice. But yeah, with patient practice is the most important thing. That's how I learned English really. I studied in my country in an English school, very good one of the good ones in my country. But I was the worst in English. I hated. Every time I could skip test or reading a book, I did it, and it didn't work good for me because at the end I started working in an international company that was from the US. So I had to read things, do presentations in English, and many other things. Of course, I knew. For the level of my country, I knew quite a lot. But in the level of my school, there were 5 tiers. I was in the fourth, almost the lowest one. And you know, everything pushed me to learn English. And then I started dating a girl from the US. Actually, I married a girl from the US for a while, and I was working in this company from the US. I was married with a girl that didn't speak Spanish, and so I was very forced to learn English.
And now here, we
But
didn't
everything have
think.
a reason.
Yeah, we didn't think to speak English here when we arrived. We were starting to communicate the Kundalini yoga classes in Spanish, the healing in Spanish, and nobody was coming. And suddenly, people in English start to come. So for me, it was a really challenge to start teaching in English. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's also words are very a little more technical and things like that. Like still, when I'm teaching yoga, for example, sometimes I don't remember elbow. Like I get like elbow. It's like or I confuse the shoulder with the elbow
Yeah.
and things like that. But
The heels and the ankles happened to me.
yeah, that's true. It's always a little tricky. But anyway, so sometimes things just happen for a reason. Well, everything happened for a reason.
No, it's way better. Because in the beginning, because Spanish, it's not along with English or German or so. So I had like nothing to grab it. Like there were everything was new. I couldn't like how do you call a carrot zanahoria?
There's nothing to do with any other
So I had a
language.
very hard time to get used to it. Now it's way better. I can make conversation
Well,
like
there's
words,
a few words that are very similar in English and Spanish.
but very.
Yeah, very few. But you can hold to them and try to.
And the thing is, the grammatic is the opposite than in German. So the verbs, you put the verbs in the opposite side. So I always struggle with the grammatic. You will put the verb, I think, after and not in front. And in Spanish, it's opposite. So it's always like. Okay. And yeah, I force myself good enough. Okay, so
Yeah, let's begin. I guess she's
see,
probably
let's
gonna
begin.
arrive, but should not
So
take
we're
more
very
time.
happy to share with you this space um, and to explain more for you a little bit of divine touch healing. We have been teaching this for several years, maybe 8 years, something like that. We started in Chile, of course, when the pandemic started, then online. Then we came here, we did it here. Tina was part of it last year. Now we're doing it online in Spanish, and now it's the time to give it again here in English and here, like with people, live people, that is very different. The experience is different. But this time also, we would like to share it in a different way. Yes, this will be the first group that we are going to share it very compressed. Last time we did it almost in 5 months, I think, or more. I don't remember.
Did you do all the four levels or
Until
one
one
and
and
two?
two. Okay. We did it in 4 levels, yes, but this time we want to compress the first, second, and third in one teaching. That is the one that we want to start with you if you are interested. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's not fair to say compress.
No, but less time.
Well,
Intense.
yeah, all of that. Well, what we mean with compressing is that really what we teach is not a healing modality. The healing is a consequence of the teachings we give. The divine touch is a sort of mm, spiritual understanding of reality that come from the idea of oneness and divine Christ consciousness, if that makes any sense for everyone. And so, really, what we're here for, and this is something that we do in everything we share, even the yoga and things like that, is to try to hold this integrity of this pureness of understanding of how we really are connected to the one, or it could be named Great Spirit, oneness, or God, or whatever makes sense for everyone. But we've been for several years receiving all these downloads and messages about how most of this knowledge have been, I think the word would be scattered, no, scattered, how do you say, like scattered and misunderstood and many things like that. And most of the teachings around this idea are limited or incomplete in that sense. And so the purpose of divine touch is to really reclaim that understanding of how we can unify ourselves from deep within without any intermediate, without anything in between. It's you and God, let's say, or you and the one, okay? Because most teachings and most things around our story in the world have some sort of intermediate, like it's very clear when you talk about the Catholic Church and things like that, but also, the understanding of so many ancient cultures having so many gods and so many references of that. And in our collective subconscious mind, we have a lot of that. We tend to believe in certain things, even believe in archetypes, or believe in there's women, there's men, there's this and that. All of those type of things are things that are holding us back to our true identity. It's not the true core of things. So what we did last year and the previous years is to teach all this kind of spiritual understanding that, okay, it's coming. All right.
Welcome.
Oh, great. We were waiting for you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We have some water there if you want. Anyway, we were just doing a little bit of an introduction. So, for the last few years, we've been teaching more the spiritual understanding of all these things that I haven't really explained at all, but you get a little bit the idea. And so, part of the process of recognizing that inner connection with the divines, the true essence of everything, had come through us with certain knowledge of healing. We could say that's a simple word that we can say. But all the healing process that come with this knowledge is for the knowledge to become your truth, if that's what you're meant to go through. So the healing aspect of these divine touch teachings are that can take you to understand your mind and how things played out in your life, so you can know and learn how to work with everything that you are creating in your life, and align it to your true essence. It's simple, really. But and so what Navkiran was saying is that this compression of the divine touch training that we used to do is basically because a lot of people don't have 5 months, or they don't want to spend 5 months. And it's not that we are going to be teaching 5 months every day, no, it was probably a weekend, or
I don't
I
remember
don't
how we did
remember
it.
yet either, but it probably was like maybe a couple of days a month, where we dive deep into certain level of these teachings. We learn the healing aspect of that level, and then we practice. And then another month we get together, we do the other level, we apply it, and we practice, and so on. But since a lot of people don't have the time for that, and somehow we felt the call to start expanding this a little more. The way we're gonna do this time is that we're gonna focus more, not so much in the spiritual background of this, but in the healing aspect of divine touch. Okay, no, see. So
We will focus more in the practice. Yes.
So the practice in itself of this, let's say, healing modality will anyway take you to a journey of self-discovery, because it's meant to be for that purpose. Even if you don't hear us talking for hours, like we usually do with this type of trainings, we talk, but we practice. It's like you're now, a little bit studying something with us with the Kundalini teacher training, and so we're gonna mainly focus into these first layers of healing, for everyone to learn how to approach the life in a different way, to understand what are the things that you are creating right now that you're not aware of, that are holding you back. And there's so many levels into this thing, and everything is in the mind. Okay, everything that you believe in, it's a reality, and I'm sure you have heard these type of things. But how do you discover all of them and how they're playing around? That's not so simple. And so the healing aspect of divine touch will slowly take you into a realization of what are the things that are serving your purpose as a divine being, and what are the things that are not serving your purpose. And so that's the focus of the healing, that will play out in itself by just doing this, doing it for yourself or doing it for someone else, uh, here physically or at distance. These have all these capacities. And the main goal at the end, because the first part now will be kind of teaching a little bit about the healing aspect, but we're also going to offer later, for anyone that want to understand more the core spiritual background, the idea of why all of this work in the way it works. We're going to offer that as well, but that will be something different, because it will not be so short as we're going to do this healing part. It will be um,
Permiso.
he did
Sorry.
come with swimsuit. I don't know if you read the messages in the group.
So what will be the time frame of the course?
We're
Not
gonna
anymore the 5 months. How it will be?
No, in this case, the healing part will be only 4 days
Bobby.
that we're gonna do in 1 month.
1 month.
1 month, yeah. In 1 month, we're gonna go through. Well, we're gonna go a little bit more into the details of
Do
the
you have towel
healing
you
and
need?
all of that. But
Yes.
the idea will be to have
Welcome. Yes,
four.
nice to see you.
We are proposing 4 Fridays.
Welcome back.
So we are open to maybe change it if
Do you
someone
want to come?
can. But the idea will be 4 Fridays, morning time here, for about 3 hours, 3 hours and a half, where we're gonna go into the
Inside
details
that
and levels
room
of,
is
of
the
the
bathroom.
healing teachings.
No, inside that
Um,
room, the left is the bathroom.
that's the way. Okay.
Mhm.
So, um, why this is called divine touch? I think that's a very important thing to know. Why it came through us as these words, divine touch. It's because all of the suffering we have, it comes from the understanding of our own limits. We believe that we are humans in a physical body and we struggle with life because of that. We have a beginning, we have an end. But as you probably all know or heard at least, that is far from being the truth. We are this idea of an infinite being that have always been here. Actually, we're not even here. And that's other aspect of the divine touch teaching. Nothing that you can experience is really what is reality in itself. The only real thing is that you have never been separated from, let's say, God or source. You're one. So even the concept of consciousness, this is the thing that most people are trapped today. Or a spiritual, all the spiritual New Age ideas of consciousness that everyone is pushing around is also a trap, and very few people know about this thing. As for example, the notion of ascending to new dimensions. Have you heard about going to the fifth dimension and things like that? That is also part of the Maya, the illusion. Okay, so everything that has a sense of separation, where you stratify things or you create space between things or time, is part of the illusion of the ego. The ego have created the entire universe and everything inside it. So this is something that is actually written down in ancient knowledge. The yogis have some, and every ancient culture have a little bit of this understanding. But in the mainstream of the awakening of planet Earth, this hasn't been really understood. How deep, how deep is all this idea of the Maya and the Great Illusion? So the idea of the Christ understanding, this idea of Christ consciousness, that maybe you also have heard, is also not probably well understood. And the core teaching of that concept is about awakening from the dream. And the dream is everything that you can imagine, everything. And you are lost in the dream in your mind. And so the idea of divine touch is to take you into a journey that where we are going to dive into these different realms that we have created, not God, that the ego have created, about different dimensions and different things that we need to go through to hopefully one day in one incarnation, get connected to God and be free, be liberated. So in a sense, we're going to take all these layers of duality and all these layers of the ego creation to use it in our favor. And so for that, we need to have certain understanding of how this play out in our experience. But the final goal of every spiritual teaching, really in the core of it, and it's the same for us in Divine Touch, is to take you out of consciousness. Consciousness is a trap, and this very few people know, and most people don't understand. To be conscious means that you have to have a point of reference to be conscious about yourself. So duality exists when there's consciousness. So by saying that you want to expand your consciousness, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It is a good thing, but it's a trap in itself, because no matter how high you go, let's say the fifth dimension, the 10th dimension, the 100th dimension, because it's infinity really, you are always going to be separated to experience yourself. So even if you connect to a being of light that is in the, they will say, in the 30th dimension or whatever it is, they will have an identity of themselves. And where there's an identity of a self, there's the potentiality of having a hidden agenda. Okay, and this is another layer of where we dive a little bit deep in divine touch. So the final more important thing is to realize within yourself that you are one. But that oneness means you are not here, nowhere, there's no time, there's no movement. Movement is a byproduct of the ego. So action, actually, it's always based on fear. Every action. This is very difficult to grab in the mind. Okay, but the ego is the one that creates movement, time, and space. So the simple way to understand this is that uh, if you are trapped in doing too many things, that's the ego working. That's why every enlightened being, every guru, every master have said always the same thing: be present. And what do you see when you see a enlightened being? Are they running and doing stuff around, or they are basically kind of like very calm, very happy, and sitting mostly? That's more or less a simplified version of what most people see. And it's because they have realized this understanding of, like, there's nothing that I need to do. I'm completing myself. The only thing that moves you to do things in life is something that you're fear about. Fear of not paying debts, fear of not being seen, fear of not having enough, fear of fear,
Not being
fear,
loved.
fear, not being loved. But this is something that most people don't understand or don't know. No one have told them this, and I know it's difficult for the mind kind of to understand. But for the eyes I see here, you're kind of getting it a little bit, no? And so the name Divine Touch came to us with the intention of taking people into a journey where they can master this reality, go beyond consciousness, and go out of time and space. So you learn how to have the capacity to transfer this connection, this understanding. I would say consciousness. I don't have a word. I don't know what to say beyond consciousness.
Oneness.
Okay, could be
Oneness
oneness.
state.
Yeah, and take it through you in a touch of a finger to deliver that to anything or anyone. That's the idea of divine touch. And this is what Jesus was doing and so many others. But it was playing not in the field of time and space, So the true healing of the true, any type of healing at the end should take you to this point in your realization where you are capable of performing healing without using time and space, because that will only happen if you're truly connected to who you really are, that is beyond anything, beyond any creation, any space, any time, any dimension. And so the idea of divine touch is to take you to that point where you can hold a sort of experience within yourself where you just touch someone and you do a full entire process of transformation. We could say healing. We don't like the word healing because when you say you want to heal, you're declaring to the universe that you're sick, and so you get trapped and you never go out from that. Okay, but for the easiest way to express this, healing is the word we're going to use. So that is the idea of every divine being on earth have been teaching this in different ways. Okay, and so for us, it's just this gift that was given to try to express this in the way we are delivering this, that is called divine touch. So finally, then, instead of like doing, for example, a session of Reiki of 60 minutes, let's say Reiki, because probably most of you are familiar with that type of healing or energy work, you can do Reiki in a touch of a finger if you know who you are. You can do any type of healing, anything, because every type of healing, it's based on ego creation. Actually, no healing will take you to the place you're going. No teaching will take you to back home. It will take you close enough so maybe you can. That's a long story, but maybe maybe it will happen, the miracle that you are gonna be touched by God, let's say. Okay, so we all, as human beings or any being in creation, we try to climb the highest mountain to get to God. That's always been the case, you know. And when we reach to the top, then we're there. We're like surrendering. Okay, I did my best. I am here. What else? And suddenly, because of your devotion, because of your understandings, because of factors that might not be explicable, God can descend, or the Spirit can really descend into you, and then you have this full realization. This was the main concept of Kundalini. If some of you are related with the concept of Kundalini, that we also teach Kundalini Yoga, but most people don't. Well, this knowledge was mostly lost. All of this, what I'm trying to briefly explain, it have been there in certain secret societies from many many centuries, like going on, but very hidden. There's it's not only in India. These teachings are everywhere, and actually they started with after Jesus came and did his thing in the world. After that, a lot of people that follow Jesus, that understood the true teachings, keep this a little bit more in secret because they didn't want to be killed. So actually, they didn't realize what Jesus was saying enough, but they keep it hold, and so through also the Catholicism, there's certain not the church at all, but some other aspects of it hold this integrity of this teaching, but most of it is not available today in the world. So yeah, okay. So I don't know if this makes some sense. I don't know if you have questions, or you wanna ask something in relation with this to explore a little more.
Mm.
No, you understood more or less. See, okay.
So, yeah.
Yes, please. Anything.
How would you define ego?
Ego? Well, there's many different ways I could define, but mm, ego is everything but yourself. That could be a way. Ego is everything you see, everything you touch. And this is the main thing that most people struggle with, because we see beauty. We see the morpho flying and we see beauty. And we see a sunset, we see beauty. And so most people say, well, this is probably a creation of God because there's beauty. But the real beauty goes way more deep and bigger and more expansive than just the things we can see. And the true teachings of this Christ idea that have come through many different cultures. So it's not about Christ itself, it's a state of understanding the spirit. Um, have always said the same. Everything, this is the big trap. You know, you can come here to Costa Rica, this beautiful place. It looks like heaven, the heaven that, everyone have this pride,
Paradise.
paradise, and in a way it helps us. It uplift ourselves. There's things that happen while we're here that are good for us. And when I say everything is a creation of the ego, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because then we enter into duality. The only thing is that there's another thing that is way better than anything you can experience in any dimensions of creation. Okay? And so for me, that would be a simple way to express everything you are aware of that is playing in any dimension of your mind, or in here in more this tangible thing, is the ego. So the only true state is something that is within us, that is sustaining us throughout time and space and beyond. And that is what we are as human beings, and not only us, but everywhere, anywhere, any life, anywhere in creation, is trying to get in contact with. And here on Earth, we are very lucky, because for many reasons. But we're very lucky because we are in the most, probably the most horrifying part of creation in a way, but we have all the capacities to to realize our true identity, who we are, and go beyond the ego. It is possible to be connected in such a way where you can be playing here, but understanding all the layers of the game. Okay, where you will have a suit, your body, you might look like a woman, you might look like this and that, but you don't have any identification with any form. You just use this as a vessel to bring down the pureness of your true identity. And this is the core of what we teach really in Divine Touch. That at the beginning, through this healing aspect of what we do, you will start uncovering a little bit of these things. It will settle, what's the word? It will take you little by little, or maybe fast. It really is up to one's soul path that it will take you to discover these layers, for you to start getting out of suffering. Suffering only comes because you identify with some sort of layer of the ego. You will never suffer if your identity is connected with the one that you are, because you are eternal in a way. But you never actually there's no beginning, there's no end. This goes beyond infinity. Infinity is also a trap of the mind. The ego bend, and that's why the symbol of infinity is actually a circle. And a circle is always been like a representative of divine, of God, of oneness, we could say, because it's perfect mathematically and everything. But so to create reality, the ego twisted, and there's the infinity symbol. Twist the circle, and the movement started. You know what, you understand a little bit what I mean? And so the infinity symbol, that it is a good thing. If you go to infinity, you go to the edge of the ego creation, and then God will grab you and take you out. So it is good to try to reach infinity, but it's not the ultimate goal. It have never been. Okay, so in this idea of the infinity, movements are happening. Why movement? Because the ego is so afraid of what it did when it had the first thought of separation with God, that the only thing he can do is to escape from suffering. But while he escapes of suffering, he's producing suffering, because it's the only thing that can ever happen in a twisted mind. And so what happened? The ego started producing movement, start producing dimensions, start producing universes, multi-universes, this universe where we are, then started escaping. So the idea was, okay, let's separate, let's do divisions. So it started dividing everything that he could into different universes. Then we came to this universe. In this universe, started creating galaxies, and then into the galaxies, planets and different stuff, and everything hold identity. Everything have a level of consciousness in itself, but because big things have more capacities, generally speaking, to hold consciousness, a universe or a galaxy in itself have way more capacity to understand the things we're talking today. So he said, okay, so let's divide, 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 create planets. Okay, let's keep dividing. No, we need to escape. We need to escape. So more division, more division, more division. Start creating things in the planet, and then created humans. And our body, it's the ultimate goal of the ego to try to uh, hold the spark of what is our true identity, God, in a very confined way, where we have all these capacities of feelings. Feelings is a great trap, but also a great tool. because everything we think, we will feel it. That's the way we're wired. It's not the other way. You think, then you feel. And so the feeling in, give this intensity to life, where if we don't know how to deal with this, we get lost into the feeling, and that gives the feedback to the mind to keep thinking the same thing, and we enter in a loop. And that's really the way we get trapped into life. And really, the feelings are just the inner guidance to understand when your mind, your human mind, your lower mind, it's thinking something different from the holy mind or your deep self, your true identity. When there's a gap between the thought of God and your human thought, you feel emotions. That's an energy tension. Emotions are just the byproduct of those different thoughts that are in different frequencies. So it's like stretching an elastic band. The more you think different from the one, the more tension is inside of you, the more intense are the feelings. And so we get lost and why thinking like this and thinking like this. And the only thing that is guiding us to really understand this is very important, very simple. What I am thinking right now that is so misaligned with my soul or my spirit or my true essence. And so if you know this, the only thing that you can do in that moment is to try to fix the way you're thinking. But the big problem is that you don't know what you're thinking. Most of our thoughts, you don't listen to them, you don't see them. That's the unconscious mind. And that's why we need to dive deep into our unconscious mind with any sort of tool to try to rearrange all the baggage we have that is connected to everything in creation, the Akashic records, all the way. They're all in our unconscious mind. And so you have to maybe work on past life and things like that, that they are not in the past, they are parallel life. That's another thing. And just work upon those things. So what we teach in Divine Touch in the healing process of this is to go deep into the unconscious mind in the way we teach it, to try to understand the things that are producing a life that you don't want, that is making struggles for you to manifest happiness, to feel fulfilled, to feel connected. So that is the tools of Divine Touch healing. It's a way to, okay, what is happening here? How is the energy that I created in my home working? You know, because everything that you see around you, the house, me in this case that you're looking to me, the stars that you can see at night, the birds that you see, the ocean, is your creation. You are creating everything. You are the one. And each one of us has this universe that is creating by itself just to either get lost in it or use it in favor for understanding the path to get connected again to the truth of who you are. So to know that everything that is around you, even the news, wars, whatever it is, 100% of everything, it's your own projection of the reality you're choosing to live. So you have two ways of rearranging all the universe. And the two ways work, but one is more risky. You either go within, meditation and understanding a little bit of what I'm talking about, and realizing about these subconscious patterns and belief and change them in whatever tool you have available, going within, or you try to change the things outside. Both ways work, but the one outside is more tricky. You can get lost in time and space, but also helps a lot because most people don't know that, for example, your house where you are now, I'm sure everyone take care of the house. But if you knew and if you were very neutral and you had the capacity to evaluate the reality of the different dimensions of energy that you have created in that space, you will most probably realize that there's a lot of bad energy at your home right now. And if you don't know how to dive into those realms and change the way the energy is expressing, then every time you're at home, you are going in the feedback of the same sort of things that are holding you back. So in a way, there's these two path
Paths.
path that you can do. Obviously, I think, in my opinion, and this is obviously the teachings of everyone in the world, going within is faster and it's better. You use way less energy, but a little bit of knowing how to change the exterior of your creation can also enhance your life a lot. Because if you know how to deal with the energies of your house and you purify the energies of your house in such a degree that the frequency or the consciousness of the space is so high, every time you go in, you will expand yourself. Otherwise, you go to your house and maybe you feel a little sleepy and the head gets a little cloudy. I don't know if that's a word, but and then you kind of go and sleep, kind of thing, and this happen everywhere. You walk around, you go to Puerto Viejo, if you can measure this is something that we teach also. You can measure this. Probably you already know ways of doing this. You can realize that if you go to Puerto Viejo or big cities, especially, certain places, the energy is so low that it sucks your energy. It doesn't need to be that way. If you're very present, it will not happen. But since we don't know much about these things and how to work with this, suddenly you're drained. It had happened to me. It was the way we started learning about this thing. It was just about experiencing our reality. I remember in my country many years ago, this was very typical. I went into the subway and I was feeling like a champion. I was doing my meditation, singing mantras, I don't know, whatever I was doing at the time. Very positive, very energetic, like very present in myself. And I went into the subway, I was actually listening a mantra, whatever. And in no time, I felt it like, like, oh my God, I'm sleeping. And at the beginning, I thought it was natural that can happen. But then suddenly I realized that this was weird, that coming from a very high state of energy, suddenly I was so drawn in an instant, like a blink of an eye, literally. And then I realized that, well, when I got into certain places, depending on the energies and certain things, you can get drawn, suck into a different realm, a different frequency, another universe, another expression of Earth that is totally different. I will take you in a different path. So this is where we start teaching now, so you can have an understanding of your creation and change it the best possible way as fast as you can with as much love as possible. And this we apply to things, we apply to people, and even to your past life or the future life, because you can work with these things in any possibility. It's just a matter of your imagination, because everything is your imagination. We're imagining being here. And so we have the potentiality to really change the things. And also in a touch of a finger. The ultimate goal for us is to teach, to not to teach really, because we don't want people to really follow what we say. It's a path of you to discover through your own experience what this means to you. But the ultimate goal for us is to carry you in such a way that you wake up so much into all of this dream that you can touch with your finger someone and that person can really change the state of being of who they are. Or you know there's so many other things. So that's why we take such a long time to explain these things. But we also are not here to try to fix the world. Okay, so
It's a way to learn how it works
yes, and
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 how can we manifest our spiritual being, seeing the ego, but disidentifying ourselves with that illusion. We are in the illusion. You cannot be in the illusion if we are here. But we can see through it. We could learn how to see through the illusion, to get in touch with the truth of our essence and know what is the truth. Because we are so stuck in the ego, we are so controlled by fear, actually, we don't know that we don't know what is the potential of the true essence of who we are. So this technique is releasing all the stagnant energy. It's working in the subconscious mind to cleanse it, to purify, to correct it. Because the ego, it's an error, like in the Matrix, like the movie. It's an error. And Christ consciousness comes here to also help us and to teach us how to correct that error here. We don't need to wait to die to know that we are not die. We didn't die. To know that we are eternal. We can do it here right now in this illusion. Tap into that state of truth and knowing how it works and how we can use it in like a tool, using the ego like a tool to a greater purpose. Yes? So it's a process to start to clear ourselves, to purify ourselves, to correct the error in the mind. Because it's just mind. It's no body, it's not emotions, it's not the house, it's not the partner, it's not the kids, son, daughters. It's even not your parents, it's not your past, it's not your future. It's just the essence of the now in oneness connection that wants to express itself through you and you knowing that. So also another thing that happens through divine touch, working it with you and maybe in other people, it's your spiritual gifts start to awake. Different and subtle sensations, no, sentidos, senses.
Senses.
Different senses, more subtle senses start to awake. Like the third eye start to awake, yes, the telepathy start to awake, and knowing what will happen start to awake, and knowing what you need, not what the ego is telling you that you need, knowing what you need, the intuition start to awake, knowing what the other people needs to awake. Yeah, these things start to happen of for us happen, knowing what is going to happen here in the street before you are there. You know that. Yes, because everything is connected. We are not separate. So I can know what you're thinking. I know what Sat is thinking. Yes? Because there's much more of us that we don't know yet because we're stuck in the ego mind. So we need to understand it. We need to take a step back to observe. Like for me, the consciousness, it's a step, yes, where you can see and observe the mind, you can detach from it, but then that state of consciousness wants to take you higher. Yes? So, like Satya said, this we don't want to teach you like something perfect that you need to do. You will start to understand, and something inside of you will start to awake and will show you a path for you. You can use this like a tool, but then all your chakra system will be awake. The Kundalini energy will rise. Your pituitary gland and your pineal gland will start to be active and do this cascade of hormones to all your body to be in balance. This make your body healed, make your mind more present, and your aura start to shine. You trust more in yourself. You know where you're going. The ego doesn't know where it goes. It's lost in life. So knowing who you are, tapping into who you are, you have strong steps. Your root chakra is rooted. You know why you're here. And you're doing your purpose just by being you, just by breathing. And even you can do anything. You know that the ego is doing whatever. working in a shop, being a doctor, working in the field, doing healing. You use that tool to do something that makes you happy, but in essence, you are shining your own light, whatever you are doing. And you are expressing the truth of who you are to this illusion, to other people, because everybody needs to awake. Everybody's here in this incarnation, in this time life, to awake. Some people they don't know, and some others we do, and we do our best. So this is a tool to use it like that ego tool in this illusion or dimension, but start to awake us from within. Yes, because we will work with the energy. Everything is mind, and the mind is a movement of energy. The emotions are energy, the thoughts are energy. Something stuck in the liver is energy. The hernia, many people came to this last week with hernia, my brother hernia, my sister, my husband's sister hernia, and people in the Kundalini Yoga teachers, and everything is energy. And the ego just stresses us. The ego is contracting us. The ego is limiting us. And it's the moment to come out from the box. It's the moment to expand. It's the moment to get unified. That's what our soul wants. That's what the spirit wants. We need to go through the ego mind and to learn it, how it works. Learn how it's working in ourselves. Learn how when I'm suffering, I'm not getting something that I want. Is the ego there fighting? And we're fighting with the ego actually. So what is awakening is love. What is awakening is a new path of understanding of who we are, where we are going, why we're here. That's why it's so common or very de moda. It's very está de moda now. It's
in trend.
something like that.
Okay.
For example, the human design, the astrology, because a lot of people wants to know who they are. But again, it's a trap. Yes, because it's splitting ourselves again. The only truth is the spirit. The only truth is oneness. The only truth is love. And that love wants to express and show us something very great. So divine touch take us into that journey to awake all that potential, to make the energy adjust. Yes, to use the energy, we need to be more rooted in some moment. We need to be with the third eye more open. We need to be more connected at some point. We need to be more in the heart. Sometimes we need to be more in the third chakra to move into action sometimes. Yeah? Or we need to balance the waters and be there in the emotions, feeling. But we use it. It's like a map, the chakras and the aura and how we're feeling. So this is peeling the subconscious, getting inside that onion, like to the core. And we can use it for ourselves, and the beautiful thing that we can share it. Yeah, so we teach it like one-on-one, like you could learn is one-on-one, maybe in a massage bed like that. But at the end, what we are also sharing with a group of people is just touching, and it's the presence flowing, because your body, your mind, it's in a frequency, in a higher state of frequency, that you can channel that presence. You are a pure vessel of that love that is giving life to everything that goes through you. So actually the ego is there, is aside when you are giving divine touch, because you are opening the path for the presence to flow.
Want to express something, drawing a very simple thing to try to express a little bit the things that we just talk about. So let's say that this point is God in a way, or it could be just, this entire thing. And within God, there's the projection of creation that we know that holds polarity. That's very obvious for everyone. And so through this polarity, we get lost, especially down here on Earth. We get lost because there's too much of this. And it seems like it's increasing, but actually it's not. It's just a different thing that is happening. And most of the teachings of different things, of even from healing teachings, somewhere work within these two polarities. A lot of people, for many years now, there's this thing about thinking positive. Okay, so taking from the negativity of the mind that we always are playing in, to let's think positive, affirmations and things like that. But positive and negative are both the same phase of the same ego creation where we get lost. So the idea of Christ consciousness, or this idea, this concept, is to realize that what we need to do is to find the middle path, the balance, neutrality. And this is the core teaching of Buddhism, the teachings of Christ, and all of the other ones. It's about finding this space in us that you can see negativity and positivity, but you are not part of it. And this is the concept of the Trinity that a lot of cultures already have. There's three things. And so the intersection, this is not well drawn. This point is the one that we want to achieve. Be there in the middle of everything, the center of the hurricane. So the thing is that, how do you know when you're here? This is unconditional love. No one can really teach this. It's an inner experience that you need to find. But the thing is that through creation, there's all these layers or dimensions that have been created since the idea of the beginning of time, when there was this thought that produced space and time. And when we are here on earth without seeing things with the vision, the Christ vision, let's say, the neutrality of things, where from here to here there's no distance, although I draw this line. When you tap into this neutral state of awareness, let's say, you immediately, boom, join God. There's no distance. Okay, so there's no intermediate. It's you and God. You are one. But we can be aware of creation because we're down here, in a sense. Our body reflects that. But all these dimensions are things where we can get connected to aspects of the idea of beings of light. Okay, light. And the thing is that through our human experience, and to come to this earth that is very, very dense, from the one, we have created dimensions after dimensions, and in each dimension that there's layers of frequencies, there's an aspect of yourself playing around that could be in higher realms. Okay, so there's a body here, for example, somewhere in this frequency, another one here, another here, and so on. So the idea of what we do in Divine Touch is to align your human self with all these fractals of your, we can say, identity or soul. Because all the fractals are trying to come to the divine neutrality. Okay, they're all doing the same thing you're doing here, in a different way. Some of them are much more awakened because they are in higher realms and they can understand more things. But they are all trying to reach to the center. And so the thing is that while we are here on earth and we have studied things, whatever type of studies, could be healing, could be spiritual knowledge, or could be just because study things in university. If there are spiritual teachings coming to you, you don't know if these spiritual teachings are coming from another, it comes from a higher dimension, but it's not in alignment with your true essence vibration that is in the neutrality state. So you can learn about, it's not a good example. I can think about something. Let's say you want to know about Buddha. You learn the teachings of Buddha. But the teachings of Buddha are in another sort of frequency that is not in alignment with your own true path. Okay, the neutrality of your soul, the frequency of your soul. And so, if you start learning certain teachings that are not in alignment with your fractals, your soul fractals, then what you're doing is putting tension inside of you and deviating your soul path. And you get lost in time and space, even if you get connected to high level of teachings. So the tricky thing, and the reason why we've been playing this so long, is that we need to discover a way within ourselves to realize how to connect with our soul fractals that are in total alignment, to get connected back to source and integrate all of those within ourselves. So one of the first things we do in Divine Touch is to start correcting these things of teachings and ideas of, even this get more complicated, but I'm not gonna get deep into this. But um, you know, there's let's say two universes. There's more than two, but let's say there's one that is in alignment with the one consciousness creation, that is this one, and then there's another one that is playing around in different frequencies, and there in the other one, that is the crooked one, there's angels. They are ascended masters. There's a lot of beings are, we see them or we believe that they are in a higher state of knowledge, but they are not necessarily in your alignment or playing a role that will help you. So the core teaching of Christ consciousness is all about bringing you back into your own alignment to reach directly to God and release all the things that are having some sort of interference in your life. And we don't know how much of this really is within us. But everything you have learned in all the incarnations in your lifetimes could be just putting yourself into connection with things that are not in your highest good, even if they look divine. There are divine realms that are not playing for your good, they're playing for their own good. So this is why it's a little tricky. We talk more about this later in the teachings. But the important thing is about learning that you have to find this middle connection so you can integrate back to source and get out of all the dimensions that are around. We've seen a lot of miracles actually happening while people have been studying with us. Later on, of course, things like incredible things happen and people tell us about like things that happen to people that they work with. But I remember one story of what was the name? Jorge? No, Eduardo. Yeah, Eduardo. We were teaching this. We were probably in the second level, I think, or third level. And he was resting. He was receiving divine touch from someone that was studying at that time with us. And I was going around trying to help or see, feel the energy and so on. And suddenly something got my attention, and I came to visit him with the person that was doing the healing. And I saw that there was a lot of beings. When you start working with this, you start seeing things, or at least in the perception. And so it got my attention. And suddenly the girl that was working with him said, "I'm ready." And he heard her, and he said, "Please, please, please, don't touch me, don't touch me." And it was very intriguing. And I got closer to him, and he's like, they're fixing my nose. He, at the beginning of the course, because we mix part of the teachings, not in this case so much because we're focusing in the healing aspect, we usually apply a lot of meditation, pranayams, and things like that that will help enhance these understandings and clear your energy. So he said at the beginning, I can't breathe through my left nose. I have this block for since ever. You know, he had the crooked nose or something. And so he was here, and he said, you know, don't touch me. They're working in my nose. They're work like. So we step one, we did one step back, and after a few minutes, he did like a, and he sit down, and he's like, my nose is fixed, and we were like, are you kidding? Like I was like impressed. Of course, it was something special that happened. Although I know this thing can happen because other things like this had happened to us. And he's like, yes, I can finally breathe. I can finally breathe. And he said he felt like they, like a little crook, like a in the nose, and suddenly he was breathing again. And so things like that can happen because of the purity of the channel that you are doing. Because when you kind of understand this brief explanation of all of what we're talking about, that when it starts happening through you, the purity and intensity of this can produce a space where miracles can happen. You know, at the end, what we are teaching is becoming what it says in the Course of Miracle, a miracle worker. That's what we intend. Miracles are just a normal thing that we should be familiar with, but nowadays it's still something miracle. Miracle is everything. But so when you tap into this sort of connection and space within you where you don't have any agenda, you don't want to heal the person. That's a big one. Most people study healing because they want to heal the person. And that is a mistake. You are doing something negative to the person if you're wanting that person to be healed. But so when you are there and you open yourself to all these things, and the spirit, the pure spirit of God can go through you and enter, there's the possibility that we can fix the mind of the person. Because the only reason why he had the nose like this, or you are suffering, or you have a disease, is because you keep thinking that that's what you are. You identify with that process. And so your body reflected. But so when you can hold an energy that is very stable, pure, and in integrity, without any bias, without any desire, miracles can happen. And they don't happen necessarily within space and time, they just happen. So we never push anything into the process. That's why when we do divine touch, and you have been in some of the activities, you might not feel so many things in the process because we're not trying to play with the ego. We're not trying to make you have an orgasm. That could happen if you want to push it that way, but that is not the main goal. The main goal is that suddenly you have a realization, things change, and that thing happen in a very gentle, beautiful way. Life change in a blink of an eye. That can happen. Also, we had a lot of cases of pain in the body, this chronic pain and things like that, that people have gone everywhere and try everything, and they just disappear just by doing, a few of the things that we teach at the beginning. So anyway, I think that's enough of information. Any question, anything? We want to do a few examples, okay? But do you have any question or any commentary, anything that you want us to clarify a little more?
Mm-hmm.
Is understandable what we're saying, or is yeah? Okay, great, good. We never know. When things it happens to all of you, I'm sure. When you understand something, it feels so easy to explain, but you don't know if the rest can really understand. It happens to us most of the time. I'm glad it seems like it's understandable. So something we were going to do at the beginning was to open the space, but we start talking. Would you Podemos hacer la respiración
El decreto.
y
Okay.
rápido Pilar de Luz y el decreto, ¿sí?
Okay. Well, so we want to take you into an experience of connection. Yes, something that we usually do when we do divine touch to others is part of the process of connection, of getting that with that essence. So we would like you to close your eyes and to meditate for a moment. We are going to do a pranayama. Yes. So first, let's feel our body. Let's feel ourselves. Let's feel our breath by being more here, trying to feel a presence in this present moment. Let's make a deep breath in and exhale. A deep breath in and exhale. And one more deep breath in and exhale. So we will start now to whistle through the mouth while we inhale. Yes? Let's whistle through mouth while we inhale, and then let's start to exhale through nose slowly, very slow and deep. So it's going to look something like this. And exhaling through nose. If you want, you can do a mudra with hands, maybe pressing thumb with index finger, palms are facing up to the sky. So if the noise is not coming, don't worry. So let's meditate in that breath or in the noise. This pranayama is connecting you from within through your vagus nerve. We have neurons in our stomach, in our intestines, also in our heart and in our brain. This is making like a synchronization, an alignment. So keep whistling from mouth, inhaling, or sucking the air through mouth, like from a straw. And roll your eyes to your third eye, like if you want to see within yourself through that space, Agna Chakra. And feel how the air comes out through the tip of your nose, very slow and controlled. And do your last inhalation through the whistling and hold the breath in. Hold it in and apply root lock or mula band, squeezing your pelvic floor and holding the breath in, your energy in, and your concentration in your third eye. So the energy can go up through your spine or central channel all the way, activating your higher glands, pituitary and pineal gland. And slowly through nose, exhale, very slow, very deep, pulling your navel in, and with no air, apply again the root lock. And feel that stillness, that suspension. And very slowly inhale through nose. Hold it in for a moment, feeling your heart center. And slowly exhale. And stay with you, just observing, being a witness, or feeling the sensations. I invite you to stay in your heart center, feeling, going within yourself, and start to imagine or feeling a light that start to shine there in your heart center, in the center of the chest. That is the light of your soul. That light wants to guide you back home, back to connect with unity, with oneness. So let's imagine this light that start to go up through your spine, activating a pillar of light, strong roll of light that goes up all the way through your throat, all the way up, arriving to the center of your brain. It's where the pineal gland is. Try to imagine that little, like a little seed, shining with light, and that the light of your soul keep going up, building this pillar of light and coming up to your crown, and they keep going up to the sky. So imagine or feel or visualize that pillar of light that goes up to the sky, go beyond this universe, and anchoring itself, arriving to source, to the central sun. Is there where the light of your soul get anchored in source. There is the presence of unity, of love, unconditional love, neutrality state of being. You can say God or the universe that recognize you, embrace you, hold you. And that presence, that love, connects through your pillar of light and comes down through that neutrality state, that balance state, that path with no polarity, no doubts, no judgment, just pure love and light of the self. Come here and touch your crown. Bless you. Purifying your mind, correcting the thoughts, correcting the ego mind that believes that is separate. and just expand yourself, expand your awareness, expand that light of your being, of your soul, and comes from your crown inside of you through your Shushmana central channel, your spine, down, arrives in the middle of your brain, activating those beautiful glands that awaken your mind and comes down to your heart center to fulfill yourself, to help you to remember that you are complete in that state of your spirit, of the spirit. There's no many spirit or mind spirit or your spirit. There's one spirit everywhere. So we invite you to open this sacred space of divine touch. We can say these words inside of loud voice if you want. So we can say all together, I am.
I am.
You and me are one.
You and me are one.
One is eternal.
One is eternal.
Eternal is divine love.
Eternal is divine love.
Divine love light creates.
Divine love, light creates.
I am spirit,
I am spirit,
complete and innocent.
complete and innocent.
Everything is forgiven
Everything is forgiven,
and everything is forgotten.
and everything is forgotten.
And the divine grace is eternal in me.
And the divine grace is eternal in me.
Nothing real can be threatened.
Nothing real can be threatened.
Nothing unreal exists.
Nothing unreal exists.
Herein lies the peace of God.
Herein lies the peace of God.
We are all one.
We are all one.
And we can breathe in, hold it in for a moment. Let's bring this energy to our heart, to our brain, to our energy. And let's exhale. Feeling that connection with the spirit within our hearts. Heart is a portal of connection, the portal of love, of compassion, and forgiveness. Forgiveness is what the mind needs. Forgiveness is what the ego needs to come back to truth, to love. And let's make a deep breath in and exhale. And slowly we can come back.
So we want to share a little bit just for the last part, for a few more minutes. What time is it? Yeah. We would like to do a few examples of things that we work with divine touch, and use hopefully each one of you as an example, if you're willing, okay? One of the things that we teach from the very beginning as part of, to use it as a tool to connect to the subtle energies is using a pendulum. Who knows how to use a pendulum? Probably a few of you. Yeah. So a pendulum is, this is for construction, but it works. Everything that have a weight and you can just grab a stone. Doesn't need to be a crystal. Um, and so we use that at the beginning to open the capacity of you to sense and read energies and things around you. Okay, so that's something that we teach in the first class. And we use it so you can discover things about the way you have created reality. What is there? A mosquito? Oh, yeah. Gone for good. Okay. Back to source. So we use the pendulum for that purpose. Okay. So you will learn more of it if you already know. And if you don't know how to use it, we're going to teach you how to use a pendulum. Okay. So the main purpose of using the pendulum is to receive information from your ascended line. Let's say we always talk about the soul fractals that I mentioned there. We do an initiation the first day to try to disconnect you from things that are not in your alignment. Okay, so you connect to the pureness of your divine alignment. We call it the fractal souls because we have different beings of ourselves expressed in this realm in different dimensions. And so we do that connection and that initiation to clear out interferences. And so when you start working with the pendulum, your higher aspects, that is yourself anyway, start coming through with pure information. So then you can discover things, the things that we teach, and then later on, things by yourself. Because when you establish a good connection, clear connection, and you have a pendulum, although in the future our intention is that you don't use a pendulum, um, you can ask whatever you want about existence in itself, and you will receive an answer. If you know how to do the questions and you know how to receive the answer, that's a big thing. That we have discovered so far by teaching this, because a lot of people that learn pendulum drop it very very soon into their practice because they say this doesn't work. There's a reason why they have that experience, and we teach it also. Okay, so anyway, um, so one of the things that just to complement a little bit, not complement, to add something, when I did this drawing, and now you had this little meditation, we call it the pillar of light, that we usually do it longer. Um, this triangle thing that I kind of draw. I'm not very good at drawing, but they usually work. It is also a resemble of who you are as a human being. Okay, so when you sit in meditation and we have this position where we meditate, you know, you form a triangle. And in the ancient teachings of, for example, Kundalini Yoga, and this is not only in Kundalini in India but also in China, we know there's a central channel that has a specific name called Shushumana, and then there's this left and right channel. So when we meditate and when we do certain things, if we know about this sort of pathways that are called nadis in Sanskrit, then we can learn how to place the energy in our central channel. And actually that's what happened through the process of divine touch. We take out any other field of information that is in your unconscious mind, that is fractalized in your different bodies that you have, because you have a lot of different bodies. And while we get rid of all those interferences, your energy will naturally draw down to the center. And so actually the fractals in your experience, if you connect to your higher divine self or you connect to angels or something that are in your alignment, are just aspects of yourself that you can connect through the different portals that you have. These are called chakras also. Okay, so everyone have, well, the 7 typical ones, but there's way more than that. And so when you start clearing and doing certain things, the energy goes to the center, and then you start being connected back, wiring yourself back to your true essence. It's just a natural state of being if you get rid of the interferences that are in the mind or in the field. The field outside of you is a reflection of your unconscious mind. Okay, so you can either work in the unconscious level or clear the energy that is outside. It will clean the subconscious mind. So there's these 2 ways. Okay, so most of what we do is to work in both layers, the idea of outside and the idea of inside. So, pásate esa pizarra,
Sí.
pongámosla para acá, para que se vea. So, Bobby, would you like to come for a second? We're not going to do divine touch in the sense of what we explained, doing the touch and doing everything. It's just about finding what the spirit of Bobby wants to clear the most, and it will synchronistically be something that we need to work and see here. So,
¿Dónde
please,
pongo esto?
ahí como al lado para que se
Okay.
vea nomás. Si
Yeah.
aparece algo de eso, puedes mostrar ahí como. So here we have a few things that we work or we teach, okay, in the process. So I'm not going to show the process in itself or anything because it's a way to do the things, to discover things. But basically, we have a pendulum at the beginning. When you master your energy and your inner state of consciousness, you don't need this, okay? But it's very useful at the beginning because even if we have gone through years of teaching, and we know that a lot of people believe that they're very intuitive, but we have learned that that intuition might not be connected in this way, might be connected in this way, and therefore they are receiving, but maybe not the things that they really need. Okay, so when we do the connection, the initiation, and we use the pendulum, it's kind of more easy at the beginning to really know because it's a outside thing, you know. It's just moving. So what we do a process, we do the decree, we do certain things, and we connect into the space, we connect into the field of the person, we connect with the divine. En inglés cómo lo decimos?
Portal?
No, el grupo divino apoyo.
Divine touch, divine supporting.
Yeah, I forget in English. We connect with the soul fractals that work with Bobby to help him awaken. Because we, as in the bottom, let's say, of the dense dimensions, everyone that is above us, that is connected with us in a soul level, they're all kind of looking down because we are in the place where they need us, for us to awaken, for them to fulfill their mission as well. So we have kind of like a team, okay? And that team, there's the good guys that work with you, and there's the other ones that just distract you, that they can be very beautiful, okay? So the idea is to connect you back to this team, okay? And this team is the one that help us know what the person really needs, okay? And so with that connection established, we start asking certain things, or being shown certain things. This always happen. If you have a pendulum, you know about this. Okay.
Do you want the other one?
Okay. So anyway, I will find out what is that is needed right now for him. The first thing that I check and the pendulum start moving in a certain way is how is his energy level or frequency. Okay, so in this case, for example, because it's moving in this way, counterclockwise, it is saying that your frequency is very low. Okay, so in my perspective, this can move differently, depends on your own understandings and things. But compare me to him in terms of what I understand as a good frequency, he's really low. Okay, this means that there's a lot of things that you're holding for whatever reason that are not helping him expand in his life. Okay, so that's the first thing I check, and then I just we have tables, we have things to look for information. I'm not using in them, but we give a few of them for you to find out things.
Like these ones, for example, you will receive some charts to use them in some to find information.
Okay, so in this case, one the thing that I was guided to work with him in this case right now is that he have psychic attacks right now. Yeah, I don't know if you know what that could mean, but in a sense, it's certain energy manipulation that come through that can affect you in many different ways. Okay, it doesn't let your mind be calm, to open your third eye, to be guided. Let's say that. So close your eyes just for a moment. Okay. So when we teach this, we teach you a procedure. There's symbols that we have channeled. There's things. There's a process. Okay. Don't do that right now because I'm just giving this example. Um, how do you feel? Did you felt any change, subtle change or something?
I feel peaceful.
But a little more right now than just a moment, or nothing that you're aware of, or any pressure in your body that you don't feel it anymore that you might be aware.
I feel it's very, very peaceful and relaxed.
So when you have energetic interference of any level, usually you don't feel peaceful. The mind is working too much. And a way to know all of this is just about observing the behavior of your mind. You know, if you keep jumping from thought to thought and you are trying to do too many things and there's no clarity while you're doing these things, there's no deep purpose of it. You have things in your subconscious mind or in your field that are controlling you, that are based on ego. Okay, there's many words for this. You know, we teach the typical words. There's black magic, there's a lot of things. This is not the only part of the teachings. This is one aspect of the teachings, clearing energy. Okay, so actually we teach that as probably one of the first steps, because we have learned that if we don't do that clearing first, doesn't matter, you do reiki, you channel things, they don't last. Okay, so unless you learn how to properly clear energies, then you can work with higher dimensions of things. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please ask anything. I'm sure you have questions or maybe anything about anything. It's just fun. Would you like to come? So because everything in our existence have this idea of fractality, you know, the physical body will always hold an expression of what is happening in the subconscious mind or in the different layers that you hold. You have many different bodies to work with. So sometimes the body can feel pain or some sensation. Do you have any pain right now? Any sensation in your body?
I have had pain underneath my left shoulder blade that is related to the muscles as in here on the top. And it doesn't go away. And it feels no pain.
Okay.
That I'm holding some of the pain that I'm not aware that they are.
I don't know if you listened, but she said she holds a pain here in the left shoulder blade that she don't know really, but maybe something emotional that is there for a while or something. So one of the things that you will learn is how to tap into those sensations and find out what is there. You know, it's very easy to do. And then there's a process to release that. Sometimes we can do it, sometimes we will not be able of doing it because there's a teaching that you haven't realized. So healing is not about letting every pain go away immediately. Okay? It's about learning what you need to learn through the process of pain. Okay? So any type of pain, emotional or physical, have a learning aspect that is always about the same thing. It's releasing the identification with the ego. It's releasing the identification of the pain I suffered when I was young and my parents did this or that, or the world is against me. All that things, all the thoughts come to the body. You can work with the body, you can work outside the body. So I don't know if we're going to work on that. I will be just guided. Okay, so close your eyes and try to just relax the body and be aware of your presence. So again, the energy, it's not flowing really good in her. I forgot to check you, but we will do that later. Yeah, there's some emotional, I don't know if it's related specifically there, it seems like, but there is some emotional pain from a child. um, One of the things that we teach it in the beginning is to use, we call it the quantum snap. Literally doing this, because there's a process that we want to create in your psyche, in your nervous system, to understand that by doing this, you can perform healing. Okay, so one of the things we do to work in the different dimensions of what we work is by doing, and it happens, the clearing, for example, or bringing down the frequencies that we want to make the system bring in. So that in that way you prepare your psyche to understand that everything can happen at this speed. Okay. Okay. Did you feel any movement in your body or any sensation that changed? Anything?
If anything, I felt something in my stomach, not in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually when you work on these layers, there will always be a movement that you will feel. You don't know. We don't try to fix anyone. That's very important. We don't try to heal anyone. We're just here to bring things into the highest and more stable way for the person to work through its own realization. So when someone comes to me and asks me, I have a pain in my shoulder, I have two options. And usually the healing of most type of healing will go to try to fix the pain or try to fix the thing. We don't want to push that. That's not our goal. It's about what the spirit of her and the divine group of beings that guide her wants for her for the greatest good. So usually what happens is that we're going to work in other layers or other dimensions, not necessarily the one that she is thinking about. And what will happen then is that we will open the space for her to work upon things, have a realization, inner realizations of things that are needed for her to fulfill her path of awakening or understanding. Okay? Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, I don't know if we have time for everyone, but who wants to come? Okay. Well, maybe everyone. Okay. Well, let's keep going. It's one
Everybody needs to come.
one by one.
So you go with no intention to the person.
Yes. And this has to be no intention, it has to be with neutrality.
So where you need to know where is the pain. If you have no intention, it's not easy to do it without knowing where is the pain.
Well, to be honest, what we do, we don't need to know anything.
Okay.
But the thing is, this is a little more complicated because there's a psychological thing when you're treating a patient. You know, most patients expect something, you know, resting here and smell and me talking to you and you giving me information of things. So we always do that, you know, in a healing session. We have this conversation and it might give some insight to me, but it's about how I do my connection to be so present that my brain is not interfering. There's no ego.
Yeah,
So
for this I'm asking now. If you
yeah,
don't know where is the issue at the person's body, your brain will not interfere with this.
yes,
You're correct.
that's
Okay.
why that's good. So
Uh-huh.
you can do a healing without
Without knowing,
talking.
yes.
Okay, come here and do it, and that's great. I have learned how to master my mind in a certain degree. So even if I have this thing with my kids, I always say this thing. I have young kids and they're very intense, and so sometimes, you know, they are pushing my buttons. They are the masters of the teachers in my life. They're the only ones that take me out of my balance very easily. And so it doesn't matter what happened around the world, to be honest. Those are the only ones, those two. And so when they take me out of balance, if I have a session or if I guide a Kundalini class or something, I just learn how to get into my alignment and suddenly that's gone. I finish the session, I might come back because I need to work with that in a certain level. So yeah, um, your turn. So let me see how is your energy. Okay, quite good. You've been doing you do some things. Yes, good. I can see.
Something.
Yeah, you have your own ways of self healing and connection. No, yeah, it's very palpable. Okay, so let's see what it comes from. Okay, the this is something that we teach, but maybe we're not going to be teaching about this in this level. But we teach how to work with the bodies, the different bodies that we hold. Okay, and the word that it comes to me is that you're missing one, although missing is might not be the right word.
Not active.
It's not active. It's also I don't know if it's yeah. There's a weak connection. It's almost like very weak. Okay.
Suppressed. Uh-huh.
Well, that body, because many times we don't know the names of the body because there's more bodies that have been written in the scriptures of any kind in the world. But this, for me, is connected with the what we talk in Kundalini yoga about the subtle body. The subtle body, it's the body that holds the soul. Okay, so the soul coming to here or goes out when we die, embedded in this concept of the subtle body. The subtle body have this capacity to give you the sensitivity of things, to go beyond the things that you see. It gives you a lot of intuition and deep sense of connection with your soul, the spirit. So if we don't have it or we don't have it well established or well connected, um, we can't really connect deep with our essence. So that's what we're gonna work with now. Okay. So close your eyes and try to just be aware of your body and just relax. Don't have any expectations in your mind. Yeah, the integrations of the body sometimes it can take some time, although we talk about not time and space, but that depends on the person. Okay, depend on the level of connection and consciousness of the person. Sometimes things need to take some time. So what we just did will totally be rewired, connected in about 3 days. But you don't have to do much. It's just that probably through the 3 days and later you might have a sense of more intuition, deep connection, depth uh, within you. So that might help in meditations and things like that if you practice to go even deeper. Do you feel anything? Nothing at all? Okay. Good. Thank you. You want just I don't know if you want to.
It's fine.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Well, it is what it is. I don't manage this. So try to relax. Close your eyes and just focus your attention within your body, your energy field. Okay, your energy is low. The frequency that is around your body is a little low. You have certain chakras blocked, and that what is making is your mind very distracted. It's difficult for you to focus on something, on one task, on one thing. And it's related with the third chakra. So we're gonna unblock the energy there. Most of the struggles in our mind to hold integrity, focus, neutrality, purpose, has a lot to do with the first three chakras. So you can either work, depending on each one, there's different ways to approach the problem, the problem. But if you work in the first three chakras and you make the energy work properly and you balance these energies, then the mind will change its behavior. Everything is connected. When we work with a chakra, we'll have a process immediately in the system of your brain. So one of the things that we teach also, it's ¿cómo se dice en inglés?
Neural reprogramming.
A neuronal reprogramming. Reprogramming. How's the accent of this?
Neural reprogram.
Neural reprogram. The tongue is like going everywhere. So one of the things we do in the process when we're teaching this is to work at the level of the neurons to try to adjust the pathways of the brain to accept the new being that is starting to um, uh, be in place because of the things we change. Because sometimes the brain activity will reject the change. So if you work at the level of the bodies or the chakras, sometimes the brain activity is not prepared to really accept the new flow, the new perspective that is trying to be created. So although it seems like it should, we have discovered that it usually doesn't, or sometimes it doesn't. So we do a process where we connect to the person to change the pathways of the brain. Sometimes it's very common to feel a movement in the brain, inside of it. And so this helps to integrate the process that you're doing. Okay? So there's a speed up of the healing process, if you want to say it in that way. Good. Did you feel anything?
No, not really.
No? Okay. You will probably feel it later. There's a dog there. Hope it's not pursuing our cats.
He's after what sister went by.
Okay. Okay. You can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Leah, do you want?
Okay, just relax for a moment. Close your eyes and get in touch with your body and your energy. we are back to the idea of black magic. Have you ever been in touch with those type of things?
People probably that do it.
Where are you from?
Yeah. Louisiana.
Yes. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I've been there. That's very typical. It's everywhere. So she has some black magic in her fields. Okay, it also have an effect. It's different ways of really things that happen. Like when we have this psychic attack, this works differently, but at the end, it affect the behavior, the way you feel, the way you think, and the way your life goes. Okay, so if we don't work to release this type of things, there's no way energy can really come in. No, like if you do Reiki or things like that, mostly in Reiki teachings, they don't go deep into these things, or they don't teach it at all. And well, anyway, yes, let's close your eyes and just pay attention to your body and any feeling, any sensations. Just drop in, relax your breath. This is something since you're 7 years old. I see you playing around in some store, something like that. At least that's what's coming to my mind. Okay. Did you felt anything? Any subtle change or something?
Probably maybe like a kind of crack here. I feel like I have a problem putting some too far.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about these things, but certain black magic are done to hold spirits within you. Spirits that are not necessarily friendly. Okay, spirits that you can hold, and this is very typical. A lot of people have it. It's not you. It's most of the world have the same sort of issues. When there is in your system, they kind of talk to you. You don't realize this, but it's like thoughts, and so they make you take certain decisions. There's a bias within your system, and when you clear them, many times they go out from the navel area, or we take it out from here. It doesn't really need to be this way, but this, because here there's this path, well, not precisely in the navel, but in this area we have this energy uh, navi, we say. There's a pathway of all the energies in the body, the subtle system with the prana and life force that goes into this place. So sometimes what we do is to bring those dark energies or those spirits, we can say, and take them out from the system through this portal or this point. Okay, so sometimes we feel movement. That's why I think you also felt that it was not the same thing, but it was not in the idea of an entity or a spirit, but sometimes we feel a lot of movement from here. Also, because every time we work at the level of energy, it doesn't matter if you're clearing or putting new information, that we do also integrate new information. There's this movement of energy. The natural flow of your consciousness through the body should go bringing the energy to the core. And then this idea of elevating the kundalini happen naturally, where the energy starts flowing up. So sometimes you feel currents of energy. You can feel it in the legs sometimes, when you clear and you work certain things, but you can feel a movement, a sensation. Okay, that's the opening of the energy that is flowing a little higher. So that will start changing the way you perceive things. It might be immediately, or might be later on, that you will kind of have a different approach to certain things. You would realize that maybe you would have reacted differently yesterday than today. And then you see that there's some change within you. If you practice meditations and things like that, this is more obvious. Okay, you kind of see the way you can perceive the changes in your mind, in your perception more fast, and realize, okay, yeah, I released this, and now, wow, I can really see things differently. You know, it's a little practice, but the thing is that it always works. There's always something that we can work upon ourselves or the places to enhance our life and make it better. And in a certain moment, when you master your mind, and this is what we were talking at the beginning, and you're capable of being out of time and space most of the time and not trapped into the identity of the Maya, then you will not bring more stuff to your life. You're not going to hold more traumas, you're not going to hold more emotional things and they stay there. You will have a clear vision. And you know when you're there because the brain activity is still almost gone. If someone scanned your brain, they will probably see that the frequencies are so subtle because when you connect to spirit, you don't use right and left. You need it to go all the way to all the dimensions and perceptions until you connect. So that's why when you're connected to spirit, really, there's no need of doing much because you are whole again. You're complete. You're not in the right, left duality. Is it this happening or not? Should I go here? Should I go there? All that stuff. It's gone. Thank you.
Mhm.
Terry, would you? Oh, yeah, again, this is. I need to fix this. Well, it doesn't matter. By the way, who have learned about pendulums, the typical question they tell me at the beginning, you shouldn't get it with this finger, so you shouldn't get it with the left hand. And you, no? Okay. Well, this typical knowledge about pendulum, it doesn't matter what you do with it. I use it with my toes and it works perfectly. Okay. So close your eyes and just tap a little into your body and your energy. I feel a lot of sorrow in your heart. It's a sensation of, I don't know the word, like you have lost someone kind of thing or something. And when you do any type of energy healing, it's good to leave people rest a little bit, okay? Here we're not doing anything of that. That's why maybe you're not feeling everything that is happening. But there was a lot of things here that you're holding in your heart. They're moving a little bit up, and I will try to clear them. Okay. Mm, okay. Feels like it will keep cleaning, but I feel it in your throat now a little bit. Okay. Did you feel anything like a loss of weight or something, or how you would express that?
Up from the heart lifting. Out.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was a heavy weight that you had there.
I've had it for the last couple of days. And if you were going to ask what I feel, the only answer is like a deep sadness. Such deep sadness.
Mm.
I can't even say if I have an idea why, possibly, but I feel it's much more than just me.
Mm. Yeah, I feel that. I don't know what to say specifically. Not the purpose of right now, but it feels like it's gone. It will keep clearing a little bit, like moving out. Yes, just relax and let that thoughts related with that just go. Don't put much necessary attention to that. Okay, great. Tina, let's see what you got,
Go to
Tina.
bed right inside the room.
Okay, just relax a moment, close your eyes, get in tune with your body sensations and energy. This is something at the level of your mind mostly. Hmm.
Salud.
Have you done any medicine plant of any kind, more or less recently, or someone around you?
I mean, I take rapé.
Okay, that could be. Yeah. Well, it seems like for some reason it opened like a sort of portal,
Mm-hmm.
some sort of medicine. That could be the rapé,
I guess
but I
I
feel
take.
there's something else also.
Yeah, I take reishi, and I take also kind of
Yeah, but that
just natural things.
and someone around you is doing like near people that you know, you frequently or
I
live
mean, I have
nearby.
some friends that want to do ayahuasca ceremony, and they want me to guide it. Mm, otherwise, I don't
Okay.
know.
Let me just do one thing. Just relax. Okay. Um, so this is something that we don't necessarily work, although you can find it with the process of what we teach. But here it's very common to do ceremonies of any kind, especially if you do ayahuasca or things that are a little more intense. If they are not held properly and the person that guided or the way the plant or the process was done is not done in the, I would say, the proper way. I don't have another way to say it. When we do this, it directly affects us in many layers of our bodies and energetic systems. And in this case, also for whatever reason, the people that it's around is maybe the people. Well, because she's connecting with certain things around doing ayahuasca, it also opened something in her. That was the thing I felt that was probably doing something that you mentioned when you arrived that today was a little weird.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Sometimes things doesn't make much sense, but I'm saying what I received. I don't know. Anyway, so anything that we do kind of have this effect in ourselves. When you do ayahuasca, I think it's a great thing. I've done it, but I also know a lot of things, so I know what I'm dealing with. But sometimes when you do these things, well, in the first thing would happen when you do ayahuasca or mushrooms, if they are too intense, is like getting a hose, a house hose, and connecting it to a firefighter truck. Huh? Okay, like a, yeah, I don't know how. Anyway, it's a little hose. Place it in a big, thick, powerful water stream. And what it happens that the little pipe or hose will expand too much and it will crack. So when you do ayahuasca or you do anything that is outside of your own energy work, that always happen. You could be a little more prepared if you do, I don't know, breath work or yoga or certain practices, you can hold it better. but it will always have these cracks in your subtle system. Okay, so that's why there's always like a down kind of experience afterwards, and sometimes take a long time to reestablish your system. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. You know, we do what we do, and that's, you know, the way we're experiencing reality to take us somewhere. Anyway, that's another story. Thank you, Tina.
Mhm.
Would you like? Yes. Okay. So most of the what I'm doing that I'm not explaining, it's in certain charts, and there's certain information that you can get just by asking and receiving information through the different booklets that we have. So just relaxa, relájate un poco y siente tu cuerpo y tu respiración. It immediately came something like a relationship with your mother, and it's something with the womb. Um, Something that is related with different timelines, past life also. Okay, that it's like kind of in a circular process within the woman's of, of your lineage. Okay. So sometimes we hold these connections that could be called energetic cords or energetic things with so many things, really. So our energies push into different life, different past life, future life, things with the mother in this case that were there with you. I don't know if you are working around mother.
Yes, es un tema, yes.
Okay.
Mother and engineer.
That should change now. But you have to try to release the thoughts related with that in your mind. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, anyone have any question? It was very it's very intriguing for us how we're gonna explain what we do in a brief moment of time. But we hope you have a little bit of an understanding where we come from. Um, and I don't know if you have any question. We will let you know about the when we're gonna start and so on right now before we finish. Yes, Tina.
Yeah, I have just to say something. I did like the training, and for me, like I was knowing a lot of things already. So like it was already like somewhere there, but nobody before was like speaking it out in the way I could understand. And like when I heard first like with the pendulum and like it had this quantum snap, I was like, this is kind of weird. But like the more I understand, the more I really integrated in my life. I mean, I did most of the time like clearing myself, but like once like a friend came and he was like feeling mentally very bad, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the clearing, and it was really like I did it, and it was not like completely gone, and he was like feeling super well, but he felt better at least for like a term. So it's like it's showing me that yeah, it is so simple, you know. It doesn't need to be like a very complicated thing to like be able to. Everybody is having this capacity to like doing this thing. It's like it is so simple,
know, like it's nothing. That was just like an amazing thing, and the more I learn about my mind and like how my ego works and like all these kind of things, it's like it's clearing myself. It's hiring my vibration. Like it brought me to a path where I'm following now. I'm gonna do the teacher training. I'm very thankful that I find this like connection to my heart. So, but yeah, it started all with this divine touch training, and like step by step, I was like, really like an onion, like clearing more and more, like things I already was knowing, kind of thing. But that was really the moment when I experienced it, and that's when I kind of feel you get the wisdom, like it's really like settling in your being, like, and the more you're clean, the more like you're connected with your mindset. You still have few days maybe when it's not so easy, but if you have your tool like to align you better, then it's easier to connect. But for me, it was like the whole journey is yeah, like my heart is saying, yeah, that's it. It changed a lot in my life and in my uh, present or in my being. So when I started to what I think now about it, it's like it's amazing. It's like it's a path you're gonna go. It's an awakening. It's like a yeah, it's the awakening to your really true being. You know? That's what we all are. That's what we ever were before, you know. So it's like this is not. This is just. This is it. You know, there was so like when there's no question, when it's just the heart is just open and it just tells you like yes, that's the feeling like this. This is. I cannot explain it differently. I was just like this is it.
Mm. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Mm.
So, about 7 or 8 years ago, I came to the conclusion that I wasn't happy and I wasn't going to live very long if I continued living the way. If I didn't figure out what was driving me, that I grew up with a lot of abuse, a lot of all of it. I, I had lived a life of drug abuse and alcoholism, all that goes with that. Really just self-sabotaging everything. So I began plant medicines 7 years ago and I learned a lot. 7 years. I feel like a completely different person. Medicine. So I tried it, take the medicine, like I have to sit there long enough, still working. And in that, felt like, okay, there was bad codes, there was bad programs in me that I needed to eradicate. That's why I came here. I want to learn more about bringing more new downloads.
Mhm.
So many new downloads, yet the old downloads have any space.
Well, we
In a natural sense, but
yeah.
away from the
What we mainly do here, we're focusing in the healing aspect. We're not gonna talk so much about what is in the background, I said, but what we do here is to prepare the system, your body, your mind, your energy fields, to receive a new understanding of who you are. So, in that sense, we can phrase it as codes. We also sometimes talk about this as activating your Christic DNA, okay, or your multidimensional DNA. That is also a word that is commonly used around the world right now. So it's not about only clearing energy. That's one of the first steps we do because we have discovered that it's really necessary. But after that, it's about integrating, we can say, new codes, new frequencies. We change the shape or the geometries of your bodies. Because if we don't have those geometries in the right way, there's no way you can read the spirit. The spirit has an established code. Your soul holds that code. The soul connects to the spirit, and that's it, and that's God, and that's everything. There's nothing in between. So to read the codes of your own being, the soul have a if you could see it, it's a multidimensional geometry, sound frequency that is not 3D, it's multi-layer, and it's stable. The soul never changes. That's why there's another misunderstanding in the world about the soul come to learn. That's a mistake. The soul is perfect in itself. It holds the integrity of God within you. Who is learning or unlearning is you as a human being with all the perceptions and things in your mind that holds another frequency. Frequency is a geometry. It sounds, vibration, and shapes that if they are not in alignment with the soul, you can't really connect. It's like a puzzle. You can't just place the thing. It's just in another shape. So what we do with Divine Touch, in a way, is to reestablish all these layers and geometries that are, you can say, are codes, frequencies, sounds, and so on. So your system can naturally connect with the soul. And then you are in that alignment. And then you have a realization of who you are. It could be in an instant of time or it can take time. That depends on you. It's not about who teach this. It's about the way you're supposed to have this experience that goes beyond a human understanding. But in most cases, I would say a little bit like teenagers. And I remember when you arrived to that first level of divine touch, you were the one that had more resistance in that group. I clearly remember how she was criticizing a lot of the things I was saying. I'm like, oh my God, it always happens. And it's okay. This the mind is sometimes very contracted and it's not about personally with you. It happens sometimes with, but the change is the importance, where we break old patterns. We need to unlearn to learn the truth in a way, and that is the idea of divine touch.
So it's like there are these little downloads, but you don't really take the time to integrate them.
Right. Yes, but also the downloads doesn't come into you if you have certain shields that are thought patterns. So you have this electromagnetic field, to simplify. Usually we call it the auric field, the aura. And if this is encoded with certain ideas of reality, will not let the divine come into you. Because you create your reality. We all create our reality. So it's about how to learn how to master your creations so you decide to open yourself again to the wholeness of who you are.
It's more like what I had, I was like resisting it because I thought I know better. I don't know, but there was also like how he said that kind of a feel. And I remember I asked one question and he was just like, why you don't believe it? And it was like, yeah, why I don't? So I couldn't answer my question, but this simple question was open my mind. I was like, why I don't just let it be, like why I don't not just consider it could be. So that moment, I remember it was opening a lot of my shields or whatever, my thoughts or whatever. It was like, yeah, why not? Like why not just be open? Why spending energy to defend something? So like, yeah, if I think about it, it was like this little conversation, and it was like after that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just see what happens and be open with it, not make my own like thoughts putting in it, just like empty and open. Yeah, that's really changed a lot.
And that is true. It's about your choices. If you want to believe in
Difficult.
something and that something to be a potential, then that's the way you should go. It's about what do you expect.
Gracias.
Tere, you're leaving. You wanted to
Sí.
say something?
I'll just say it really quick. I am been for 12 years in metaphysical energy healer. I worked for that for a long time, and I do sessions with my horses for a client. And a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. I was doing with a client, and then I received a message. You don't need to do the same stuff. No, this is not necessary. You can do it faster. Speed it up. Let go of this. You don't need this anymore. And I said, huh. So then I started to change a little bit how I'm getting do it. And then the other day you said, oh, do you want to come to that? And I thought, huh, okay, sign I'm coming. And that's why I'm here. Because it was really clear for me. And then when you're talking about, I mean, we do also work with this, exactly. But in a slightly different way, but the same thing. But it just became very clear to the moment, okay, I'm in the right place, doing the right thing. So thank you.
Thank you, as
Thank you,
usual.
Terry.
So,
I'm sorry I have to run.
quería explicarles un poquito cuándo partimos y los montos y
Sí,
eso.
sí.
Just 5 minutes and we're done unless you want to keep talking or asking questions.
Yes. So we are very happy to share this training with you if you are willing to keep going with us. I here have the dates. So we want to share this in 4 dates, the same time, same day, Fridays from 9:30 to 1, 4 Fridays, starting next Friday. Yes. So this in total will be 14 hours. We would like to share with you an early bird, yes, until this 24th. Today is, I don't remember, 22. It's an exchange of $333 until Tuesday. We can extend it a little bit. And there's another discount after the 24. That is, if you bring someone to learn this technology with you, you have 100% USD discount. Yeah. And the normal price is $497. Yes. So you are learning the first, the second, and the third level that before was more extended in these 4 days to apply for yourself, to apply for others, to apply for space. Also, we can apply it for the past and the future, any moment in your life or others' lives. So, yes, that is the idea. If you are interested and the dates maybe are not comfortable for you, we can move them a little bit. For example, there's Friday 22 of December, that would be the last Friday, is near Christmas. So I know people sometimes fly and are not here, goes back home or something. So we can move dates, but we're thinking also to record it. And if you can't be that day, maybe we can give the recording. So that's the plan. So we would love to know about you're interested if you want to learn this divine touch healing modality. And we can speak, get together, maybe change dates if it's necessary to start with the training. Friday 22nd? It's not? So so I put the dates of Sundays. Sorry. So it's so it's 29, 6, 13, and 20. Yeah, thank you so much. See, 20 of December.
We didn't have the chance to talk a little bit about this. These are a few of the things that we teach and work with. You want to take a picture and read it, and if you have questions, you can send it to us. Okay?
And what was the discount if we bring something? What was that?
You have $100 discount, so it could be 333. Supposed to be until Tuesday. We can extend it maybe a little bit more. And then if you bring someone to learn, 100 discount.
So who is interested? Maybe
I
about the
am
possibility.
interested.
Are you? Okay. Great.
I'm gonna have to
What about you?
pull together some
You're traveling.
mini mirrors.
No, I'm not traveling. I just have to think about it.
Okay. Let us know any question you have.
Well, you triggered some. It could be a too long of a discussion as since we're ending the session. So maybe.
Well, we can stay a little longer if you want to talk a little
Yeah,
bit
you
about it.
triggered some questions not regarding the program in general, so it's not related.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's what I like the most. Questions to answer. That's why I keep asking, do you have any questions? Because when people ask me, for example, that's how I can really bring information. Because I don't know, like I'm used to monologues because I don't know, but it's not the best way for me to teach. It's questions and answers that really brings into also for you a better understanding of things. So I'm happy to talk a little more. If you have time, we can spend a few minutes more. Right now. No, it's okay. Good to see you.
Mhm.
2.5 years.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
That was the last time we saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been in Babylon for 2.5 years.
Oh. Uh-huh.
You see my advertisements on some of the groups bottled up getting music lessons.
Yeah, I saw it today. I think
Stuff
last
on the
night.
beach for kids.
Yeah, it would be great for our kids.
If you have children that need music lessons, maybe we can make it great.
Could be. It depends on them more than us. They are the boss. Many
Play
times.
the drums.
I probably want that.
The other things that I'm interested in like the 29th and the 6th. So like I have something already on the 29th and I'm leaving on the 6th. So,
6th of December.
yeah. So it's just like
Are you coming back?
I don't know when. But
Okay.
Yeah. Like, always come back. You can't not come back to first. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, think about it. I think the most important thing to not miss, although it could be done remotely, is the first day because we do this tuning, this initiation, we can say. But then the rest, you could easily do it if you want to with recordings. We do that a lot. We've done this online. We do it, and since the whole story that I was telling, it's all these teachings are out of time and space. They don't need to. You don't need to really be present physically for them to work. But of course, it feels better. But it's a possibility. You can think about it.
In Spanish, it's only online, never presentation.
Because we don't have people or a lot of people that speak Spanish that would like to hear.
Mm.
We everything we offer, no tico have ever arrived. They are not into these things mostly. Probably there are, but not the ones that come here. Yeah, we would love to do it in Spanish. Blessings. Blessings.
Blessings.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. I'm very interested. I didn't understand the price in English.
Lo puedo mandar o conectas.
Sí. If you want, I can. ¿Te digo en español? So, las fechas.
Las fechas las tengo.
29, 6, 13 y 20, 9:30 a 1.